Good morning. It is Friday. You know how we do it. Every other Friday, it's Matters Entertainment. And also we take a look at Matters News. We cannot fail to update you. And this is beautiful, of course, a Friday morning. It is Morning Cafe, where we kick off your day on a very, very, very interesting note. Updating you, entertaining you, make sure that at least your weekend starts in style. My name is Linda Alela, and it's always a pleasure to have you joining us every other morning. So it is time that we first of all take a look at the newspaper, and then we'll be crossing over to news that has been compiled by my team, and most importantly to the entertainment segment. We have lots of activities set for you this morning. Makeup lovers, you are covered this morning. At least we give you tips on how you can do your makeup pretty fast and step out and still look amazing. You know very well, ladies, you'll understand this when I say that in a huge way, makeup plays a huge role towards ensuring that you boost your confidence, you come out there and you feel good and you're able to, face the day feeling confident and feeling, perfect. And most importantly, we'll also make sure that you keep fit. We give you tips on how best you can keep fit. You need to drain those, the fat, the excess fat inside, like in you. You need to ensure that you step out right there and keep fit. So we'll also be having a gymnastic in the house that will be taking us through that session. It will be an incredible session. You do not want to miss out. And also Nancy will be here with Matters Entertainment, some bit of music, some bit of, candid talk on matters artistic world. So make sure that you keep it right here from now all the way to the end of the show. And Joy Devo is on board, joining me this morning, so she can take us through the newspapers, or of course we can take you through the newspapers together. So much so is happening in the world of news, and we have garnered this. We officially join the non-member states on the United Nations Security Council. Joy, good morning. Joy? We've lost Joy? We'll get back to her. I'm not able to hear her very well, but I would have loved, I think that is the biggest news that we'd want to start to forget about this negativity sometimes that is always there. Sometimes we talk matters corruption, we talk of so much, so it is important that we start off with the good news. And Kenya officially wins this United Nations, Security Council seat. So that is a story that we'll be looking at. I'll not delve into it, so at least we get to hear Joy's take. Joy, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
You are here. Thank you so much for finding time this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And we got this. Do you know what that means? The United Nations Security Council seat, after intense lobbying, after trying so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the third time around, actually, because we already served in the 70s and in the 1990s. So this is the third time around. So it's actually a very great honor for Kenya to get this non-permanent.
What does it mean for the region? What does it speak for the East African region? And what do you think Kenya will bring on board?
3 seats on the UN Security Council. We have 3 seats on the UN Security Council. So you have Niger, you have Tunisia, and now Kenya. And our voice there is not basically for our country, but is there for the entire region. We are there for the sake of Africa. So the UN Security Council is one that makes decisions. For example, if there's need for military intervention. So let's roll back to like 1994, when there was the genocide. We would be the ones who would be agitating and saying, this situation is serious, please move in. We also, the Security Council also makes decisions about issues of security around the world. But not only that, when you see serious crimes against humanity, these are the guys who can make the decision to step up and do something about it. So it's actually an honor for the region. But not only that, it's also an opportunity, for example, to deal with issues like terrorism. Now you can deal with it on a global perspective rather than just as a domestic problem. So it's a great opportunity for us.
All right, that's amazing. Congratulations to us. But before we leave this subject, what does it speak about the integration and the unity amongst the African countries? Djibouti, deciding that they will not step out of the race. They will, it's healthy to compete, but there are times we say that, for the sake of African integration, for the sake of African unity, having been endorsed by the African Union, don't you think that Djibouti would have easily saved us going for the second round?
No, it's one of those things that makes us as Kenyans also take a step back and realize, we may have a certain estimation of ourselves in the region, but our neighbors see us in a certain slant because notably there are some of our immediate neighbors who did not vote for us.
Vote for us, yeah.
And that is very telling when the people who live right next to you don't think you're worthy of something like this, especially knowing the sort of position, what it would mean for the entire region. So it's a level of introspection needed, because even when we did make it through, I mean, we needed 128 votes to go 129. That's by the skin of your teeth, for lack of a better word. We screeched to the finish line. So it's one of those things that maybe we need to step up our Pan-Africanism. Maybe our neighbors do not feel we are neighborly enough, is something we need to do. But be that as it may, like you said, Djibouti ought to have demonstrated maybe a little bit of Pan-Africanism as well, to not put us, for example, like India. Asia decided, this is India's turn, and they went in and opposed. You'd have expected that that's what would happen. Right. But be that as it may, I am very proud of Djibouti, because as a smaller country facing up to Kenya, it tells you also that there are other countries that are growing in stature in the region, and it's a good thing that other nations are also becoming stronger, that they feel like they can stand up to us. So it makes us also up our game. So it's a good challenge.
It is a good challenge, and indeed we say that. Now we are out here, Sasani Kazi. And that aside, still going back to the front page of the People's Daily, we have 8 ministers in focus as reshuffle looms, and the president, who is keen on securing his legacy through the Big Four agenda, now is ready to bring into government experienced hands and drop some allies. I mean, before we even get to understanding why this could be coming up, in as much as maybe sometimes they remain speculations, we've seen most of the times them talking about the Jubilee Purge. It was a speculation until eventually it happened. So indeed, there are likelihoods of a cabinet reshuffle. But when we look at this newspaper and what it says, that he is keen to bring experienced hands, does it mean then that with the formation of the current cabinet, there was a problem? There were no experienced figures? That these people who have been captured right here are not the best to handle the dockets that have been awarded to them?
Euphemism that we shall see some old names making a comeback. Maybe people who are there in times gone by. When somebody talks about experience, it means it's not their first rodeo. But you have to give it to the president, because he has sort of followed through on his promise of purging, get in line, I have to deliver this, and I'm going to deliver this. And so you have seen him complete what he needed to do in the Senate. Yesterday we saw changes that were made to the National Assembly, and it should make sense that he finishes with the cabinet, so that everybody is aligned with his message and with his direction. So when you hear that there'll be old hands, to me it's euphemism of, there's some people we thought were no longer in the arena that we may see back in the arena. An example is CS Health. Mutahi Kagwe. He was more known to us as a politician, but now he came back as a technocrat in a ministry. So most probably we'll see a lot of that happening. I imagine the president wants to have more people around him serving in cabinet, but who have got political savvy, so that who are able to handle, because that's been a struggle with what we've had with the purely technocrat CS. Is sometimes they're not minded to the political nuances and the delicate balance that needs to be there between delivering government promises and managing people. So maybe the president's looking for people who have that balance already in place. So the struggle or that friction reduces somewhat.
I don't know how genuine this list is, but the people on target would be James Macharia, Rachel Omamo, Cecily Kariuki, Aden Mohamed, and Keriako Tobiko, Amina Mohamed, Joe Musheru, Simon Chelugui. The most I think the person we need to focus on is CS James Macharia, after a majority of members of parliament came out guns blazing on, of course, MP Moha, trying to tell him that he is not in a capacity to, first of all, point a finger at James Macharia and saying that this impeachment motion that he's bringing on board, it does not hold water. But before we even get to that, do you think that this could have been informed? I mean, these changes that are likely to happen could have informed the coming in of the likes of Wiper Party and Chama cha Mashinani to join Jubilee Party? Are we going to get figures in the event that this reshuffle happens? Are there likelihoods of us getting figures from these parties?
If you see the names that have been put there, which as far as I'm concerned, that is pure speculation, but you can see they're targeting the people who've not been quote unquote politicians per se before. These are guys who came straight from the corporate world and got integrated into government. The thing to note is that for many CSs, once they get into government, they start also developing political, how do I put it? They are socialized politically as well. So many of them, it's not their first rodeo. They were there in the first administration and they've come back in the second administration. So they've grown somewhat in this process. So I would be hesitant to imagine that all of them would be quote unquote on the chopping block. But a reshuffle is imminent. That is clearly in the air. Some of them may be reassigned to other duties, may be given diplomatic work. So it may not really be a complete, cut and paste purge. But the important thing to note is also that the fact that, as you have correctly pointed out, Jubilee has been very keen on bringing other partners on board. And so it's expected that some room will be created to accommodate some of the people who have come in, because I would imagine part of the negotiations in the run-up to having these corporations is that maybe one cabinet slot or maybe one position here and there. So we've seen this with KANU in the Senate. So I would expect that some of the Jubilee guys who've been there for a while might be reassigned to other duties to make room for some of our new partners to get on board.
Okay, and page 5 captures this story that I was talking about. MPs unite to defend CS Macharia, and legislatures allied to Uhuru Ruto dismiss impeachment motion sponsored by Ali Amid coercion allegations. And there you are. And this page 5 actually captures a host of, stories that are interesting. I mean, what do you make of this move by, of course, Muhammad Ali? Amepeleka Jicho Pevu again, or is he trying to revive that in a way?
No, he actually said it in a press conference. He said, I promised people that I would bring Jicho Pevu to the house, and I have brought Jicho Pevu to the house. So I would imagine Muhammad being the journalist, investigative journalist that he is, he probably has a dossier somewhere. Maybe what he has presented so far is not the entire dossier. Maybe there's a serious dossier somewhere that is waiting. But what you have pointed out for me is what I found curious. Because you had Jubilee, ODM, the slew of politicians from across the board coming up and saying, with what we have seen, this is not worth our time. Kill it now. Now, that to me was telling, because most probably many of them who were speaking are experienced parliamentarians, well versed with the standing orders, with the thresholds required. Mheshimiwa Mohammed, this is his first rodeo. So maybe there's something that they're saying that he's not seen.
And is it so? Remember, there have also been allegations that Macharia is a systems person. So when you also look at this list that has been presented, has faces of some of the cabinet secretaries who've been considered to be systems persons. So, I mean, how possible is this?
I mean, if you're working in cabinet, your system's somewhere or other. I mean, it would be expected. You wouldn't be picked to serve in cabinet. That is the inner sanctum. If you were not aligned to some level, because even if I was president, I wouldn't go looking for people who are entirely outside the system. So he has had a lot of support from his community as well. So we saw a little bit of Mtuetu coming back. We saw also a little bit of camaraderie, because when MPs from across the divide in these turbulent times find something to unite them, that tells me then actually there might be some credibility in what the MPs are saying, that whatever CS Macharia's ills are, this particular impeachment motion is ill-advised. But we were told to wait for it to be tabled on the floor of the House, so let's see how it goes. It promises to be interesting.
Okay, well, you said you brought up the Mtuetu factor, and I think I cannot go without asking this question. Do you then suppose the talks of Governor Anne Waiguru and others saying that you can only rent the Akina Mtuetu but not buy them officially? Is that what this paints?
No, that is true across the board. It's not just for the Kikuyu nation. Most of us align ourselves politically according to where we imagine our interests would be best taken care of. And the best example is what we have seen in the last few days. You don't want to tell me that suddenly people have had an epiphany that Jubilee is heaven on earth and they need to all come and cooperate with the government. No, everybody has managed to negotiate something that takes care of their interests so that they remain politically relevant, because once you're not in power, And the way we configured our constitution is such that if you run an election and you lose, you're totally not in government anywhere. And I'm sure many of them are finding it difficult to keep their political careers alive without the trappings of office. So when you see them coming in, they are hoping to also keep their political ambitions alive on the ground. So all Kenyans have this Mtuwetu thing. There's no one region that has it way more than the others. The problem is that is what necessitated something like the BBI process, for example, because Kenyans don't feel included. When others are on the table, they sort of lock others out. So this is maybe an attempt to try and bridge that pre-BBI. But let us see how the next few days pan out. Because like I said, these guys came to the table, they must have negotiated for something. It will become apparent within the next 2 weeks or so exactly what they negotiated for.
Even with the endorsement of constitutional change, President Uhuru Kenyatta now says, I mean, just reiterating what he said before, I am not interested in extending my stay in power. That is what he has declared. Is he genuine at all when we say that power is sweet? And we've seen numerous of course, African leaders trying to craft ways of ensuring that they stay in power, well, until death, so to speak.
Whether or not he's genuine is not the question. The question that we need to answer is, it is the law. That's it. Even if you wanted to, it is the law. And it is in our constitution, no less. It's not an act of parliament where people can be marshaled into the house to pass it at midnight to change it. It is the law. And he clearly stated it, that previous presidents have respected the term limit. Kenyans are very unambiguous about it. And I'm not going to be the first one to change that. So I'm sure the president, whatever else he has going for him right now, he knows clearly that there is something called a term limit, and he's very cognizant of the same. And that would explain even why he has been very vigorous and very focused about what he has been doing over the last few days, the last few weeks, because he is very aware he's on his countdown to deliver his legacy and to deliver his promises to the people of Kenya.
And genuinely you think that his desire for a constitutional change, based on what he's witnessed, he says that probably this constitution that we have currently does not serve us justice. His quest for that constitutional change, something he reiterated on Madaraka Day pretty much, is genuinely about the interest of the people of Kenya? Can we trust a politician that much? Honestly,
that's a very tricky question, because somebody said with most politicians, you would not leave them alone with your daughter in the room, because they have such sweet tongues. They can make you be convinced of anything and everything. And so sometimes we take what we hear from politicians with a pinch of salt. But in this particular instance, especially on the issue of term limits, the law is unambiguous, and our president has been categorical several times. When you talk to Christiana Nampo, when you talk to Richard Quest yesterday when he gave his interview, he's been very categorical to the international media. And even here, when we saw BBI 1, when what came out at Bomas, all of us were expecting that there would be machinations worked in there to see a way of increasing the seats, as it were, so we can see where the president would fit in. And we're all surprised that there was nothing about adding seats, quote unquote, at the high table. So that would tell me that, by the way, even if BBI 2 comes out, we still might not see that, and it might leave us wondering, okay, so extending power, how?
Joy, you have really played smart, just as the president has been. So we can only leave it at that, and time will give us answers to that. Okay, so transfer of City Hall functions to NMS unconstitutional, court declares.
I saw I've not read the judgment itself, but I read some commentary of what Judge Wasilwa said. Her contention was on several issues. One, she was not apprehensive, but she indicated that the terms of the transfer, the deed of transfer, were ambiguous. That means they were not clear. They left a lot of loopholes and gray areas. And that she considered to be a problem. Secondly, the founding in the law was a little bit unstable. Third, there was a transfer of even personnel from one place to another. So she just said, you know what, this thing doesn't make any sense the way it is presently constituted. She gave them 90 days to go and sort of realign it and make it make sense. The question now becomes, will this really happen? Because we have already seen Governor Sonko making an about whether he's going to cooperate on this. So this makes for interesting reading, because in the budget estimates, NMS has been allocated a budget. So this complicates issues for the national government. I think in the haste of doing this, maybe they did not dot all their I's and cross all their T's, and now this is coming back to bite them. But this also is on the backdrop of the tension that there's been between the executive and the judiciary. I'm not saying that that is what led Judge Wasilwa to make her decision. I'm just saying this is a difficult time for government, for judiciary and executive as well, so that if you make any orders, they're all looked at in light of, is this blowback from the judiciary? So sometimes things may not be taken at face value because you're imagining that there are other games at play. But I wish that everybody would indeed, as Judge Wasilwa said, go back to the drawing board, because NMS has had a lot of problems implementing what they need to do because of a lack of cooperation from City Hall, basically. So maybe this is an opportunity to streamline that relationship, so we know what roles are clearly NMS and what roles are in the county government, and make sure that money follows function. So what goes to NMS, the money meant for Nairobi County is diverted to NMS so they can deliver.
All right, okay. This one I cannot fail to capture. It's actually the biggest story on the People's Daily, and I'm sure across all other newspapers. It's official, no exams in 2020. And now Magoha says that Class 8 and Form 4 tests will be pushed to further to November 2021 in the event that we fail to reopen in September. And of course, after declaring that if we reopen on September, then we can as well have the examinations on April, that is 2021. So once schools resume, they will start from where the students left it at. That is amazing, so to speak.
Yeah, but you know, in this particular decision, we are a little bit of Johnny come latelys. Because exams were cancelled across many jurisdictions. They were told, you know what, even when the school term reopens, we'll just do continuous assessments tests, but the big tests, the IGCSE and most of the other exams for this year have been cancelled. So this is not unique to Kenya, as it were. We just took a little bit of time to make the decision. And I actually support the decision, because if I had a candidate this year and it's going to the middle of the year and we've not been in school, the children's also psyche, you know, once you get into the final year, there's a way you pace yourself getting ready for the end of the year. They've not had that, they've relaxed and, you know, they're sort of waiting for when schools reopen. So this would do justice to those children, because they will not be compromised in any way. And I like what I had CS Magoha saying, and I think also Sosyon said, that people don't take exams, the children. And Sosyon said, I mean, KCSE certificate is not the ticket to heaven. If you put this in context, you'd rather have a delay of 1 year in your life. And for us older people, we know 1 year is such a short time in the big picture of your life.
I agree.
Rather than risk the life of our children.
All right. And still in the interest of our students, I keep cutting you short. And still in the interest of our students, Magoha requests senators to pass laws banning porn sites. I think we saw what happened, the numbers that were, of course, registered as of yesterday and before yesterday. It was pretty much unfortunate to realize that our girls are being impregnated at that level as it stands. So let's drop that one on matters education, because time is not on our side. And I don't want us to go before mentioning this one. This is an interesting one. Did you see Jubilee Asili somewhere yesterday?
Yes. Yes,
what does that mean, really? What does that mean, sincerely speaking?
That was Jubilee Asili in URP colors and the other Jubilee.
I know what happened to the original.
It's like a separation of the colors. You know that experiment you used to do when you were in school, where you put paper
and color yellow was dominating like no one's business.
I think it's an indication that a split is not just imminent, but has happened. But it has happened within the Jubilee angle. And so I think I like the play of Jubilee Asili and Jubilee Kenya, because it's reminiscent of what we had with Ford Kenya and Ford Asili, when the famous Forum for Restoration of Democracy broke up in the years gone by. So I'm not sure whether it is fact or fiction at this point, because bloggers these days, by the way, produce things that look so real until you realize they're not real. But the thing that it does tell me is that right now in Jubilee, there's definitely
a rift, a huge one for that matter.
Not even a rift, a proper separation.
All right, it's clear.
It's of the sheep and the goats.
They can no longer stand on podiums and tell us that Jubilee is intact. Jubilee is
no.
They can no longer.
even with the purge that has gone on and everything, it is clear that one there's a proper schism. And right now, it's just because the law says you cannot resign from a party and keep your office.
Yeah.
Most probably would have seen most of those MPs saying, you know what, yeah, you keep your Jubilee, there you go. But right now, they know that would mean by elections and things like that. So people are staying in Jubilee for as long as they can, I think.
Yeah.
But we might see either people getting out of Jubilee, maybe a breakup of Jubilee. Maybe there is actually a Jubilee Assembly and it's just me who's behind news. Let's give it till next week. Ask me next week, I'll tell you.
That's interesting. Well, I'll make sure that we have you next week for that matter. And the COVID-19 cases, 4,257 cases so far recorded after 213 tested positive in the last, that is 24 hours as of yesterday when we were receiving the updates. 1,459 recoveries is what we have so far, 117 deaths, 130,498 people have been tested so far. Indeed, normality is far off after sharp rise in COVID-19. This is according to what the Ministry of Health has said. It's pretty much unfortunate, but we can only hope that things are going to go back to normalcy. So, Joy, I think on that very note, we've crossed over like by 3 minutes. I mean, we surpassed the actual time by 3 minutes, just because. I mean, I feel like today's newspaper review would have been given more time. There's so much to capture.
Yes, Mr. Producer, please listen to Linda. She's wise.
Consider that. There are a lot of interesting stories. I've looked at this. You've given me a go ahead. All right. So I've been added like a bit of 7 minutes more. COVID-19.
Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Thank you.
You know, the thing with COVID, it's interesting to note that it's not like there's an increase in cases. It's like the more people they test, the more cases they find. So if you look at the percentages, they still remain about 3 to 5% of the people you are testing turn out to be positive.
Yeah.
So that tells me there's a lot more COVID in the society than we actually currently know. Maybe it's time to combine forces. In addition to what we're doing right now with the testing, maybe we should start doing an antibody test, because I would bet my bottom dollar that there's some people who have had a COVID infection and recovered and are still in the society. Maybe it's time for us to just see how prevalent is it, because we will be sitting here thinking we are preventing the spread of COVID. Well, actually, it's spread and has been, and all we are doing is just finding out the cases as we go along.
Yeah.
But that said, I like the change of strategy where we can do a lot more home-based care, because what that does is we don't have all these people lumped in hospital at the same time, many of whom we've had have mild symptoms or are symptomatic, because that's what would overwhelm our medical personnel. So in protecting them, let's just take in the people who are critically ill, who actually need medical intervention. And for the rest of us, it's time to learn, like you said, it's our new normal, time to learn to live with COVID. We're already actually in the post-COVID season, because there's nowhere it's going. Now we're already living out post-COVID.
Yes, it's upon you to ensure that you go by the directives that are there. That way you're able to save yourself. There's a lot of, I don't want to say witch hunt, but hunting of people at the helm this time around. Mudavadi is in office illegally. This is what they say, and ANC officials tell the registrar. The founder member files petition demanding party elections and removal of National Execute Council. Not forgetting what has happened in the case of Ford Kenya. And now also, let's just go also to the counties. We know the case of Waiguri that is ongoing, and now MCAs are planning to impeach Kuti. Yesterday we had like around 4-5 there of governors that are being threatened by their own MCAs. They're likely to face the impeachment process. I mean, what is just happening? Are these people genuine at all?
You have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. There are some places where, indeed, the MCAs may have a genuine... Like, let's take, for example, in Kirinyaga.
Right.
The issue with Waiguru did not just suddenly spring up in the last 2 weeks. They have been at it for a while. In fact, COVID came and sort of put a brakes on it, but they had already started the process of impeaching Governor Waiguru from a long time before.
Yeah.
And if you see the way the MPs came out to support, the senator came out to support, everybody has spoken out. So you can tell on the ground, maybe the people are really feeling that the county is being mismanaged. So you might say maybe they have some genuine concerns. Whether they can face up to the standard or the threshold for an impeachment is something I leave up to the Senate committee. But, you know, with the removal of Governor Waititu, many MCAs had an epiphany that, we can remove the governor if we are so minded. You cannot discount the fact that some of them could be rent-seeking. It might be a way of blackmailing the the governor to do something that they want.
They weren't,
so
yeah.
it would, if we learn from Makueni, if you remember the first time Governor Kivuta Kibwana was there,
yeah.
they had a lot of push and pull with these MCAs. They tried to break up the county, they tried to impeach him like they did with Taita Taveta. But in the end, he has found a balance of being strict and working within the law, because he has implemented the constitution in Makueni, and the MCAs have managed to live with it. So it's a matter of being people smart, so that you're able to make people understand, even if we are not going for all these trips to Dubai and everywhere, we can make this work. So there's the issue of rent seeking, cannot be discounted. Blackmailing the governor cannot be discounted. But also, it's the MCA's role to give oversight to their governor, which is what we wish Parliament was doing for our executive, but that's a story for another day.
All right, so NC, Mudavadi?
Mudavadi, I think there was something that had been hatched in the Atwoli meeting, where all the party leadership in this ANC and Ford Kenya was supposed to have been changed. But so with the big backfiring of the Ford Kenya one, I think the people in ANC have realized the change in tact would be to try and do this legally, which is what they should have done from the beginning. If the party hasn't had elections for a long time, they're well in order to request for or to demand for elections to be done from the grassroots. Well in order, because that culture of having this big man sitting at the top of the party is what is leading us in a lot of trouble. We see in other jurisdictions where party leaders come and go and the party remains. We've seen that with ANC in South Africa. Thabo Mbeki comes and goes. Jacob Zuma comes and goes. Yes, ZANU-PF is a bad example.
It's a bad example for this one. Why do you say so?
Because Mugabe,
we know Mugabe has been there for the longest of time.
Alikaukia hapo. They were pricing the party from his hands.
I agree.
So we need that dynamic for our democracies to grow, because others will be having parties that are formed, come win elections, and they fold after elections, which is not good for our democracy moving forward.
Okay, bonus yetu imeisha time. But Maraga, there's a cartoon edition. It's interesting, yeah. A picture of some flame oozing, and Maraga is on the run. Do you officially think that he's ran from the troubles of the judiciary?
I don't think so. The little rant that he gave the other day shows that he's trying to stand up for the judiciary. Remember, he's also getting out of office in January when he has to retire.
And he's now officially
so he's
on
also
leave.
in legacy. No, he isn't. That was fake news. He's still very much in office. But the problem with what he has left, the time he has left, if he doesn't repair this relationship, the next Chief Justice is set up for a very difficult job. So if part of his legacy must surely be trying and repairing the relationship with the executive before he leaves office, so that his successor has a chance of succeeding at that job.
Did you think that his successor could have been, I mean, there are talks on board that yes, the successor could be brought on board by the executive itself, a preferred candidate by the executive, which is actually possible, and you know that.
But with the JSC as it's currently instituted, that would be very difficult, because, the JSC has been operating, and that's why you find this standoff is there. They have been insisting that they're an independent commission, which indeed they are, they're constitutional commission. And they've been insisting that when they make a recommendation, the president cannot alter it. And we've seen this happening before with previous appointments. So that's the gridlock that must be broken, where the executive gets to a place where they stop second-guessing the decisions of the Judicial Service Commission and allow them to run that arm of government best as they can. Then now hold them to account based on the results that they produce. Because it's very difficult, like you said, it's very difficult now for people to assume that the government is not doing this so they can cherry-pick who the next Chief Justice will be. And that would be very unfortunate if that's the case.
Joy Mudiva, thank you so much for your time this beautiful morning. Looking forward to see you again next week, as of course I'll ask you that pertinent question. We'll take a short break right here on Morning Cafe. We'll be right back with more news, so don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to Morning Cafe. Time for news. Now, Kenya recorded the highest number of COVID-19 positive cases, deaths and samples tested in 24 hours. And as the government continues to do more and more tests across the country, the question of whether or not the approved testing labs are using the correct testing kits is a matter of concern among many people after they held a CAS on Wednesday, pointed out on the margin of error resulting from the use of RDT test. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
On Wednesday, Health CAS Dr. Rashid Aman issued a stern warning to testing labs that are using RDT tests in determining whether a person has COVID-19 or not to stop immediately or face the law, a matter that has raised concerns among many people due to the question of false positives occurring in some instances. Professor Matilu Mwau, a virologist at KEMRI, explains the difference between the RDT tests and the WHO-approved real-time PCR tests.
When you say real-time, it means that as the amplification is becoming successful, as the genetic material grows in magnitude, we can even see a graph growing, like drawing real-time. Okay, so we know for sure that organism is there. Now, when you are looking at RDTs, we are looking for evidence in the body that you've been exposed to that organism.
According to Professor Mwau, the use of antibodies and antigen by RDT tests is the main reason why it might not be the best option in COVID-19 testing.
The people who got infected with COVID-19 in March, the ones who recovered, they are now in their houses doing their shambas and so on. If we go and test them for antibodies right now, they'll be positive, but they will not have coronavirus. So that story is a false story.
He further explains that RDT tests are not completely useless as they could be utilized in many other ways. The number of confirmed cases among State House officers has risen to 16 people, with the governors who recently visited State House among the people being currently traced. This is as Kenya records the highest number of COVID-19 positive cases in the last 24 hours, with 213 cases, rising the total number of cases to 4,257.
Nairobi, as I alluded to earlier, leads with 136 cases, followed by Mombasa with 32, Kajiado 13, Kiambu 7, Busia 5, Nakuru 4, Machakos 4, Garissa 3, Isiolo 3, Taita Taveta 2, Kitui, Migori, Narok, and Embu have 1 case each.
106 people have been discharged from various hospitals across the country, with 10 others succumbing to the virus. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
Now, the government has faulted the ballooning number of pregnancies among school-going girls in the past 5 months. According to a report circulating online, Nairobi, Kakamega, Homa Bay and Nakuru have been listed as the counties with the most pregnancy cases. Education CS Professor George Magoha has, however, criticized the report. David Mudhuga now has the more.
It is a report that has caused a stir in the country. Still unverified, a number of government officials seem to agree with it. The report unearthing the alarming upsurge in pregnancy cases among school-going girls between January and May this year. Nairobi County ranks highest with 11,734 cases, with Kakamega coming a distant second with 6,686 cases. Homa Bay County closely follows with 5,932 cases, Nakuru fourth with 5,883, while Kajiado County sums up the top 5 counties with the highest pregnancy cases with 5,834 cases. However, the government has cast doubt on the report, accusing non-governmental organizations of doctoring records.
Who is giving us these figures? Because they seem to be definitive figures. Could some NGOs who are keen on pushing sexual education be using these exaggerated numbers? So we are going to interrogate, despite the fact that we know our children are getting pregnant,
Education CS Professor George Magoha admits that the country continues to grapple with the increase in cases of pregnancy, but not as portrayed in the recent report. The Education CS added that the Education Ministry is keen to deal with the misuse of the internet, which he cited as the root of pregnancies among girls in the country.
That site accessible in Kenya, who needs it? So don't tell us that because it is accessible in the US, it should be accessible here. There are many countries, both African and Asian, that have blocked it, and their culture is better.
Mary, not her real name, is among the 3,964 pregnant girls in Machakos County. Although she regrets her current situation, she reiterates it's not time to cry over spilled milk.
We were in a relationship, then I found myself pregnant. I came to tell him, then he alikubali, akasema atalea mtoto, hana shida. So I had to nikubali hiyo ball, nilee singetoa.
Machakos County Commissioner Esther Maina says her office intends to shift focus to the male culprits in a crackdown on the surge of teenage pregnancies.
The problem that sometimes we have, and I want people to open up, is that if it's done by a father, a mother prefers keeping a marriage than reporting the husband. That is the most unfortunate thing.
This, as Machakos County Police Commander Mwiruri Karanja has further put parents on the spot over negligence.
Hiyo watu 4,000 wamefanya hiyo vituko. Utapeleka kotini, tuvunje record. Kama they are genuine, wakuje, tafadhali.
David Mudhoka, TV47.
KCPE and KCSE candidates will now sit their national examinations in April 2021 if schools reopen in September this year as expected. This is according to Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha, who toured Nakuru Girls High School to inspect the institution ahead of reopening. Andrin Kilemi with that report.
National examinations KCPE and KCSE will now have to wait until April 2021 if the scheduled September 2020 reopening of school is successful. This is according to Education CS Professor George Magoha, who toured Nakuru County to assess the level of schools' preparedness ahead of the gradual reopening.
Our ministry has already started going to the field to physically assess. And what we are avoiding is people giving us shopping lists, which is the usual thing. We want to go and check at what is precisely necessary so that we can open our schools and ensure that our children are safe.
During the tour, CS Magoha, together with other education stakeholders, noted that most primary schools had enough water storage facilities, with the biggest headache now being the formula that will be used to maintain social distancing in classes.
Because our schools are already full to capacity, to the extent that we had just completed 100% transition at the time we were visited by COVID. So you'll be seeing our officials across the nation taking physical stock.
The Ministry of Education, however, says the reopening of schools will be dependent on whether the Ministry of Health will be fully satisfied with the safety of teachers, students, and other school workers.
And from within the Ministries of Education and Health, we have already formed several committees, and those committees are working on the brick and mortar of what has to be done before we open schools.
Some of the things that will be considered before the reopening of schools include creating and supplying of masks to each and every learner, auditing whether all schools have sufficient water storage facilities, educating teachers on COVID-19, as well as testing teachers for COVID-19. The government is to spend 2.4 billion shillings in recruitment of 10,000 intern teachers, as well as support in COVID-19 related issues. 2.1 billion shillings is to be used in construction of additional classrooms, 1.9 billion shillings for provision of desks for secondary and primary schools, 700 million shillings for capitation and improvement of infrastructure in semi-arid areas, 300 million shillings for recruitment of ICT intern teachers to support in digital learning in public schools. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
When more than 4 governors are likely to face impeachments in a few weeks to come. The Council of Governors, however, says the impeachments are driven by 2022 polls. And as Joash Onsari now reports, Kitui's Charity Ngilu has been pushed to the wall to an extent of proposing a dissolution of her county.
As Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru awaits a verdict which is currently before a select committee, the Council of Governors is questioning the motive behind the new wave of impeachments. At least 4 governors are at the verge of facing impeachments at their respective county assemblies. The Council of Governors, however, says the impeachments have everything to do with the 2022 polls.
I think it is because of this positioning themselves that is causing discomfort within some counties, like what has happened in Kirinyaga, like what is happening in Kitui.
Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu has been pushed to the wall by members of the county assembly. Ngilu is now proposing a dissolution of her county, with her party having the minority at the assembly. Other governors who might face impeachment include Kwale Salim Vuria, Wycliffe Wangamati of Bungoma, Trans Nzoia Patrick Kaemba, and Isiolo Governor Mohamed Kuti. Nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura, however, has written to the Senate Speaker to have a motion that will provide an impeachment procedure. Most of the impeachment cases are funded outside the county assemblies.
Waiguru's head is being asked for not by the county assembly. I can tell you.
The COG says the Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu's fate was politically instigated.
These issues are political. If they were correct, why is it that the governor is free? How come he has not been jailed?
Joash Onsari, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, Kenya carried the day at the United Nations by winning the non-permanent member seat of the United Nations Security Council to represent Africa. Kenya was facing off with her IGAD counterpart, Djibouti, for the same position. Now, Kenya takes over from South Africa for a 2-year term until 2022. This will be the 3rd time Kenya will be serving in the post after serving twice previously as a member of the Council in 1973 and 74 and 1997 to 98. Kenya joins India, Ireland, Mexico, and Norway, who are on Wednesday elected to the same position of the non-permanent member of the Security Council. All right, and on that very note, we take a short break there. The next segment is one that you do not want to miss out on, so make sure that you keep it right here and let's get to have fun together. Remember, it is Friday. Morning Cafe's Friday edition always matters entertainment and much more. So we're all about yoga. We're all about that gym aspect this morning. And joining me is James Jr., who's a gymnastic coach, yes, and a yoga coach too.
Yes.
So it is always advisable to do this in the morning.
Morning is the best.
Morning is the best.
Enough oxygen.
And most of the people say that there's no time for that. It can really be hectic if you're preparing to step out for the day. What would be your advice to them?
You know, exercising in the morning is like grabbing a nice cup of tea in the morning. So you have energy throughout the day.
So you can always just create an extra 15 minutes or 30 minutes.
Yes.
What's the most you can do this?
You can do from 15 to 1 hour, depending with the time you have.
The time you have.
Create for yourself.
Create time for yourself. I mean, no excuses for not looking good. We have to look good. And here we are today, this edition of Morning Cafe. We are going to give you those tips of morning sessions of yoga, any session, like general sessions,
body fitness.
General body fitness. All right, so you can join us right now. And tuwapatie dakika kama mbili tatu uanze ku dress up or change.
Yes.
Or you can actually do this wearing anything.
Have something free to move around, free to space around.
Yeah.
If you don't have a mat, just use the carpet at home. Go to the ground, go to the field. Just feel free.
All the stories that we're coolaing right here is to give you a chance to go and grab whatever it is that you can, that free attire, and join us so that we can do this together with James. It's going to be an interesting session, about 30 minutes or so. I am eagerly waiting to see whether I'll sweat myself out of this session. But it will be incredible. So I'll also pick some tips. I am always very lazy when it comes to aspects of gyms. You know, unapata umeboeka, utaki, unaenda leo, discipline hakuna, zero discipline. How do you maintain that discipline?
I think you need self-motivation. Just love yourself as much as you can. You can have training partners who will push you, will wake you up. Let's do this, let's go.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's very important. If Museveni can do it, if every other person is doing it at this time of COVID-19, who are we? So let's get going. It is now on your court, so you can take us through this session. Yeah.
All right. Welcome all. So every exercise we start by simple warm-up and stretching. So let's move our head just like you've woken up in the morning. Take it round and round, and don't close your eyes. Spaces. Drop your hands. Feel free. And the other side. 1, 2, and 3. Elbows up. Move your body side to side. Side to side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bring your hands up, breathe in, and greet the morning. Interlace your hands, your fingers, and stretch even more. Push your hips forward, like you've just woken up in the morning. Feel good.
Feels
Twist
nice.
your hips. Twist your hips. Make it nice and easy. Nice and easy. And drop all the way down. So you bow down and drop your head, your neck, feet parallel to each other.
Okay.
Straight knees. You don't have to reach all the way down. Just drop your neck, relax, breathe into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you come up, bend your knees and hold your knees there. Go wider, a bit wider, and stretch your left shoulder. Look up the right side. You're still stretching. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go to the other side. Stretch your right shoulder. Looking up to the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come all the way up. Roll your upper body up and push your hips up again. Stretch your hands behind you. Nice. When you come back, move your shoulders up and back. Up and back. You started waking up now. Feels good.
Yeah?
Yes. Nice. Up and back. Now bring them forward. Shoulders forward. 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 Just like you're doing a simple dance. Move with the rhythm. Forward. Forward. And forward. And forward. Step your right foot forward. And your left foot back. And then you sink deep 1. You're going to push those launches. 2, 3, 4. On 5, you step forward and switch sides. Launches. Sink deep. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a balance workout.
Yeah.
4 and 5. Switch sides. So step your left forward and raise your hands up and breathe in. 1,
No, I will
2,
fall.
3, 4. On 5, step forward in your feet and step back your right foot. Raise those arms up. 1, 2, 3, 4. On 5, come forward, side to side. So you're going to do the squat walk.
Okay,
Walk
let
like
me see
this.
it. All right.
Walk. Step, step and back. Go. Step, step.
Why are my steps different?
Step. Go. 1,
Okay.
2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Come back. Very good. This is to wake up the feet. Shake your feet. Shake it off. Shake, shake,
I
shake.
hope you're picking this up.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake your hands. Shake everything. Shake everything, everything, everything. And do a little jog. Jog now. You're warm. Jog. Jog, jog, jog. 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 And jog. And jog. Jog. And jog. Jog on the spot. It's on the spot, on the spot, on the spot, on the spot, the spot. And stop. Breathe in, take your hands up, breathe in. All the way up. Through your heart center. Bow forward. And take your hands in front of you to the mat and step back. Just step back.
Okay. Now this is it.
1. Hold your cardio tight. 2, 3, 4. On 5, lift up your left hand.
Impossible.
Just 3. 1, 2. Very good. 2 and 3. Switch side. Very good.
Wow.
1, 2, and 3. Come back. When you come back, you kick your right foot. Kick and back. Right foot. Kick and back. Left side. Kick and back. Right. Kick and back. This is the cardio. Kick and back. Your ab muscles, your abdominal muscles. Back them out. 2 more.
Wow.
Last one. Kick. Kick. And sit on your heels. Very good. Sit on your heels. And move that neck.
Okay.
Move that neck. Round and round. Round and round. And the other side. Round. Round and round and round. Come up on your knees. Step your right foot forward. Right foot forward. Bring your hands there. Now tuck your back foot to come up. There you go. Very good. Very good. You can balance. You can improvise by placing one hand down.
Okay.
So you straighten your back foot. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. On 5, step back and kneel back. At home, take it easy. Step your left foot forward. So your back foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you're breathing. Every count is a breath. 4 and 5. Kneel back. And then you come up on your knee. Tuck your toes behind you.
Okay.
Lift your right hand to catch your right knee, right heel. Left arm, catch your left heel and push those hips forward. Look up. You can open your mouth and breathe. 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Come back slowly to sitting deep through your heels. Now flat foot, flat toes.
All right.
Yes, come on your hands and knees. Come on your hands and knees. Now arch your back. Still in the morning, you don't need very vigorous.
All right.
So breathe in, arch your back. and out. Breathe out. Breathe in at your back and out. Breathe in at your back and out. Very good. Breathe in. You're doing well. And out. I hope no one is cheating out there.
Yeah, please don't.
And out. One more time. Breathe in. Out. Very good. Come to stillness. You want to try your forearm.
Wait a minute. Okay, when we breathe in, you literally breathe in, or you pull yourself up?
When you breathe in, you pull yourself up.
Oh, you pull yourself up
back
as you breathe in. Okay.
Let's do 3 more times. Breathe in.
All right.
Your back. Breathe in. And out. To hollow back. Breathe in at your back. And out. Put a hollow back. Last one more. Breathe in at your back. And out a hollow back. Very good.
Yeah.
Now turn your forearm.
Okay.
You want to feel the stretch on your forearm. Ooh la la. Very good. Now arch your back and hold it up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come back. Turn your hands and bring your feet to squat position. This is the position. Very good, very good.
Yeah?
A lot of people are not squatting now, they're just sitting on the
Are you?
couches.
At this rate,
for the kids.
I'm trying to be as disciplined as
I'm
possible.
going to teach you a new skill called crow.
Crow
Balance. Crow. The crow balance.
Okay.
The crow jump. The crow jumps. The crow balance. You place all your weight on your arm, above your elbow. You could balance there and tap your big toes together.
No.
For beginners, I always encourage, even at home, just do simple jumps. You place the weight and you bring your weight to the hand. Yes. You want your hands to carry the body? There.
I can do
that. So you don't jump and leave the weight just to your hand.
Are my hands supposed to be holding on to...
Go
yes.
in, put your hands in, bring them back here and bring the weight forward a little bit, as if you're falling forward. Let's do 5, 2, very good, 3, place all your fingers on the mat, 4, and 5. Now go to direct squat, flat feet. Flat feet, squat, complete
Impossible.
squat. Oh my goodness.
Impossible.
You're coming back to basics. This is going back to basics, huh? Yes.
No.
Yes, hold it there, hold it there. 2.
Okay.
It's opening your hips. Swing them. 3.
All right.
4. You see, people have forgotten this sitting.
I know, right?
12. And 5. Come all the way up. All the way up. Straight feet.
Okay.
Leave your fingertips on the mat.
All right.
Fingertips. Bring them closer. Closer to you. And bow down your neck on 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring your hands forward to the mat. Step in your feet and lift up your right foot. Right foot up. 1. Look up to that foot. Point it to 3.
Wow.
4. 5. Down. Switch sides. Very good. Press all your fingers on the mat. 2, 3, 4, 5. Step back. Now I'm going to help you do a hip opener. So bring your right knee, right foot forward.
Wow.
Like this on the mat. Just bend it in front of you, your right foot. Very good. Very good. You can have support of your hands.
Wow.
You're quite flexible.
Yeah.
Hold it there. Now be straight. Don't sit on the side. Come straight on forward. Look up and breathe. Arch your back. Very good in the morning to arch your back, your spine. Breathe. 1. Very good. 2.
Should I be holding down?
No, breathe normal breath. 4, 5. Now you're going to place your left hand in front of you. Left hand. Your right hand is going to catch the other foot back. Bend your back behind you.
This is my right hand.
Yeah, your right hand, catch your left foot.
Like this?
Opposite hand, opposite foot.
What am I doing? This is it, yeah?
Yes, good job. Very good. 2, 3, amazing. 4, 5. Now switch the hands, only the hands. Right hand comes there, left hand go. Bend that foot again, hold it, and bend your back. Very good. And just be happy. It's your own body. Love it.
How do you mean?
Yes. Enjoy. Give yourself a smile in the morning and let go slowly. Now, the good thing with this, what you do to the right, do to the left. So step your right foot back. Yes, I know you feel those. Have some walking. Stretchy. Not so far. Bring your feet a little bit forward. Now prepare your left foot across the mat in front of you. There, and you just sit on it. Place the weight on it. They're called hip openers.
Okay.
These areas are tight around the hips, the glute muscles.
Okay.
Oh yes. Now place your right hand and your left hand goes behind to catch your right foot again.
Which is my left hand now?
Your left hand is on your left side. I know you get confused on this.
Yeah.
Almost there. Very good. Once you can catch it, you're really good. Don't lose your flexibility.
Okay.
And look up and breathe. 1. Every pain, imagine of a chocolate.
It is painful.
2, 3, 4, 5. Come forward. Switch hands. Yes, this is called sweet pain.
How sweet is this pain really?
Sweet pain. Pain on the muscles is good when you stretch the muscles. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let go. Bring your arms forward. Now kick that foot back and come all the way out. Walk your feet towards your hands and just bow forward. Keep your straight feet. Don't cheat on your knees.
Okay.
Hold your opposite elbows. Drop your neck, your head, then swing side to side. Very good. Side to side. Side to side. Side by side. This is good for stretching the side of your body. Side to side. Now hands on your knees as you come all the way up. Straight back. On your straight back, look forward in front of you. Bring your hands forward. Feel a stretch in the back of your feet, your hamstrings. 1. I'm asking for more breath. 2, 3, 4. On 5, come all the way up. And bring your hands through your heart center. And drop your hands. Shake those shoulders.
How painful will this be for me?
Feet. You don't even realize when it's ending, you know? Every time it's like you're starting. Nice and easy in the morning. In the morning. Very good. Shake everything. Shake, shake. Now, I want to teach you some workout on your lower back.
Yeah.
Some people have lower back pain when they wake up in the morning. So you're going to lie down on your back.
Okay.
Then tuck your toes.
Yeah.
And your arms on the mat. Enjoy your mat now. What's the need of having a mat and you're not enjoying it? Enjoy your mat. Then you lift your hips up really high. And maintain your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back slowly. Take a breath in and out. Lift those hips up again. This time around, press your hands on the mat and lift up your right foot.
How now?
Oh la la. 1, point to those toes. You want to see your toes, your nicely done nails. Admire them. 4, 5. Come back down. Take a breath in. Bring those hips up again. Really up. Pull. Interlace your hands behind you. Your shoulders are almost connecting.
Okay.
Yes. Lift that left foot up. 1, 2, 3. Make a point. 4 and 5. Come back. Very good. Now interlace your hands at the back of your head. Some crunches, huh? So you're going to lift your right foot on top of your left, and then you're going to come up like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. What you do to the right, do to the left. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Come back. Lift up your hips up again. Your hands over your head. Stretch those hands over your head. Lift hips up more. It's for your lower back. Hips up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Come back slowly down and come up. Come up. Bring your feet together. When you're coming up, bring your feet together. The soles of your feet together. You know, butterfly position. Yeah, kids call it butterfly. Lift those wings.
All right.
Well, hold your feet.
We're almost winding up, right?
Lift those wings. Awesome.
I don't think I can go beyond this.
Hold it. Now, again, to stretch the lower back. Those feet, bring them a little bit forward. Breathe in and go all the way around your back and go as much as you can go and maintain your breath. Very good for your lower back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You come up slowly. How does your back feel?
And here it is.
Yes.
This should be enough for someone who's stayed for a long time without working out.
That's why you don't take it them very fast. We improvise. Now, tuck in your left foot in.
Well, we're winding up though.
Winding up.
Yes.
Now hold your right foot with your right hand, your inner sole, and lift it up. Oh la la, look at that pose. Very good. And open the left hand. Celebration in the morning. Very good. Hooray, if you can do this in the morning, imagine in the afternoon what you're going to do when it's nice and warm.
Wow.
Switch the other side.
It's a wrap, man.
So wrap on this one. Lift up.
Hooray.
1, 2, 3, 4. Feet together and your hands to your heart center. Give thanks to yourself.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're such a good student.
I have learned the hard way, but I'm grateful. I mean, thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Parting shots, I mean, I'm actually losing. I don't even think you will be. You take that break for us. I don't think I have the energy to do that, and we'll be coming back with more.
Yes, morning cafe, morning exercise, love yourself, embrace fitness, and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Yes, after this break, we're back with more on Matters Makeup. Thank you. not, and I mean cannot, step out of the house without makeup. Molly is here. Molly who?
Molly Wanjiko.
Molly Wanjiko. She is going to take us through the makeup session. You know, quick tips that you can actually fix that makeup. You really do not need that professional touch. But then again, professional touch sometimes is good, right?
Yeah,
because whatever it is that Molly can do, you cannot do for sure. Whatever it is that she will advise you to do. But sometimes, Molly, just take us through this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you literally tell us, do this on your pages and all that. I swear to God, when you do that, it backfires on us. Ni nini hiyo mnakuanga mnatudanganya?
Si kuwadanganya per se, because personally I learned makeup through YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
I never went to school, but for makeup you have to practice.
Right.
It's not like you do it today and you get perfect. You have to keep doing it again and again and again and practicing until you get to know what you're doing and until you get perfect.
All right, from what I see, I know we're going to get the best of lessons this morning. This is courtesy of a morning cafe, and this is just for you back at home, the beautiful ladies. It is time that you pick these tips. I mean, it's pretty much important. By the way, nowadays we say that makeup is not just for ladies, it's also for men. Some men can do something simple and still come out looking good. The model of the day is Magdalene. She's looking at me like, Zile, why are you not introducing me? So here we are, and I think you will be taking us through what exactly it is that you want us to do. I don't know whether it's wedding makeup, because I hear it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Whether it is an occasion makeup, office makeup, or anything. I would prefer office makeup because, well, 3/4 of my life revolve around being in the office. So what is it that we're doing today?
Today on our model we'll be doing office stroke everyday makeup, something that you can be doing every day on your way to work, when you're going to the office, or when you're just running your errands, when you're going to your business, something that you can achieve with a minimum time, because for like wedding makeup it takes a lot of time. The least it can take is 1 hour. So today we are going to be doing something that will take a really short time, something that you can do in 15-20 minutes, which is something that is doable on your way to work. You can create time and, you know, get out of the house with a face pit.
Right, that's okay. So where do we start from?
So we are going to start with the eyebrows. And for the eyebrows, you need to have a spoolie pencil. A spoolie brush, I mean. A spoolie brush is for brushing the eyebrows and brushing the hairs to the direction that they normally grow into. So that is what I'm going to begin with.
In this case then, when you say the direction that they normally grow to, is it advisable to like your eyebrows? You know, what is the best way?
It's because some people really have bushy eyebrows. So it's advisable to like trim your eyebrows and shape them to the shape that according to your face shape. That's how you trim your eyebrows. So it's advisable to like thread or tweeze your eyebrows.
So in this case then you go direct to the eyebrows. That, I will assume that at this point you probably have moisturized your face, it is clean, and it is
at this point the face is clean, but I've not yet moisturized or put any primer on. Because personally I feel like when you do your eyebrows, when you already have product on, it doesn't show really well. So I begin with the eyebrows without anything on the face. So after the eyebrows, that is when I'm going to moisturize or prime, and then I can get into other face products.
Okay, proceed then. I know I can talk the whole time until I get you to forgetting what we are supposed to be doing. And of course, as you're doing it, kindly please take us through that session, because if there's anything that any lady will tell you is hard on matters makeup, is just fixing your eyebrows and making them look good, keeping them on shape and all that. Yet they say that eyebrows are the key things. Like you can do your eyebrows, and if they're well done, you can step out of that house feeling confident.
So actually eyebrows are the entire makeup. If your eyebrows look bad, then your entire makeup will just look bad. It's true, eyebrows carry the face of the makeup. And for you, like, eyebrows are really hard to get. Personally, for me, some people might find it easy, but for me, it was also very hard to be able to draw my eyebrows. But as I said, with practicing a lot, even when you're just at home during this quarantine time, when you're just at home, just pick your pencil and your concealer and just practice. That's all I can say.
We are, for you actually, now that this is what you do professionally, I mean, getting these different types and shapes of eyebrows, how easy is that? Because one would say, let me just fix mine, because then at least I know how my eyebrows should look like, the shape of my eyebrows. But sometimes you get clients that, have bushy, extremely bushy. Some do not literally have eyebrows.
I normally walk around with a blade or a thread and what is it called? A Uzi.
Yes.
To
Thread. It's a thread.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it's a thread to thread the eyebrows. So if I get a client whose eyebrows are bushy, then I ask them, are you comfortable with me trimming your eyebrows?
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to like draw the eyebrows on if the eyebrows are quite thick.
All right, here I go. I zip and I listen and I watch you doing what it is that you do best as you take us through this. Yes.
So I've already done the outline with a pencil. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick a very flat brush. If I can find it. So here, I'm going to find a very flat brush, and with this brush, I'm going to get some concealer to clean up the brows. And if you want like your brows to blend really well, you take a concealer that is really close to your skin tone or your client's skin tone, and that is what you use on the top of the brow, and then on the bottom of the brow you use a lighter concealer. Instead, you can also use your foundation to clean up your makeup. To clean up your eyebrows.
Your eyebrows, yes.
Yeah. So I'm just going to pick a really small amount, and then on the flat brush. And I'm going to begin with the bottom of the brow.
Guys, remember this is just about giving you key makeup tips that you can pull in about 15 minutes. Say you've received that phone call and you have to step out like ASAP. 15 minutes time can be spared for you ensuring that you look good, so you don't go out there without confidence, because I mean you've just woken up, you've taken a shower and you look so bushy, you look so funny. So this is it. Molly is taking us through these tips, and she's now working on Magda's eyebrows. And I mean, some of these things we keep saying that we know, or they're out there at their disposal, but I think it's always good, like she says, to keep practicing time and again, time and again. I think I've practiced for years but never been that perfect, but at least I can do something for myself in the event that I do not have a specialist on board. I don't know why my cameraman had to position me here, because I can barely see what you're doing, but I want to trust that the end result will be perfect.
We want to surprise you as well.
Okay. Well, let me sit here and wait to be surprised. That's a good one. It's a pretty much good one.
So concealing the eyebrows helps the eyebrows pop more when you use, especially when you use like a concealer that is lighter on the under the brow. That is, makes it pop more and makes it more noticeable. So that is why we conceal. Yeah.
So on the pencils that you use, you can use any color or pencil, or again that one also depends?
That one depends on your skin tone.
Okay.
For her, I'm using a Davis number 18.
All right.
But the darker your skin tone, the darker the brow pencil you need. If you have a lighter skin tone, then the lighter the pencil you need. Yeah.
Looking at yours, just tell us that first.
So the pencil, your skin tone will determine the pencil that you'll get, because you'll find some people you'll have to use a black pencil for their brows to show.
So when you're filling in, there are times that it comes out extremely dark. It looks absurd.
Yeah.
So I would love to know how is it that you're doing it to ensure that it is well filled in, well balanced, but equally not as extremely dark to look artificial.
That is why we are using the spoolie brush.
Okay.
So when it gets darker, you just use the spoolie brush and you just brush over the brows.
All right.
That makes it a little more diffused and makes it a little bit lighter.
All right.
Yeah. So after concealing, now we are done with the brows. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to moisturize or prime. So I'm going to prime.
Okay.
So the first thing you need to do is prime before you put on any face products, because primer protects your skin from the makeup and also helps the makeup last longer. So you have to prime. Some people prefer not to prime, but it's really, really best to prime if you want your makeup to last longer, and if you also want to a layer of protection on your skin from the actual makeup.
And speaking of priming and moisturizing and all that, is it advisable to use random products, or it is advisable to use products from the same company, from the same not really supplier but actually company or brand?
For primer and the foundations and everything, you don't have to use the same brand, but you just have to make sure you're using the original brands, because there are some counterfeit brands out here. So you have to be keen on where you're buying your makeup from and where you're getting your stuff from, but you really don't have to use like one brand. You can use different brands. So after priming, as you can see, I've used a matte primer on her face. Also, priming depends on the face of the client. If they have oily skin, then you have to use a matte primer, and if they have dry skin, then you have to use a hydrating primer. So on her, because I've noticed her skin is oily, so I've used a mattifying primer. That is where you can see she has some white cast on her face. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go into foundation. So you can go into foundation, you can go into the eyes, whatever you prefer. But as I said, because I'm teaching you guys how to like, for a first time or someone who is learning, it's best if you begin with your eyes, so that if you have any eyeshadows on your face, you can clean them up as you're doing your face with the foundation. I'm actually going to start with the eyes, and I'm using a concealer again. And this is a really, really light shade of concealer. And I'm going to prime the eyelids.
I hope Magdalene can face like the camera pretty well, so at least people are able to see that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I'm going to prime the eyelids.
We have to take it a little bit fast, so at least we don't lose this before time lapses on us.
So priming.
Can you move from this side so you can probably hold her chin so people are able to see that well? That's perfect.
So priming the eyelids helps with the eyeshadow color to show more and to pop. So if you want your eyeshadow color to show, you need to prime. You need to prime.
So you're priming using a concealer?
A concealer, a very light shade of concealer.
What of eye bags? I mean, that's a big deal. Some of us struggle with that a lot.
For eye bags, you can, after doing your foundation or before, you can, if your eye bags are really bad, you can use a color corrector first. And then after using a color corrector concealer, you go in with your foundation. But if they are not that visible, what you can do, you can use your foundation, and then when you conceal, when you highlight, it will hide the eye bags. So next we're going to go into eyeshadow, and because this is a really subtle office look, we are going to work with some browns. And also, if you want your eyeshadow to show more, don't drag it. You just need to dab it and to tap it, so that the full pigment can show.
What are these talk that fingers work well than the brushes when you putting on the eyeshadow?
Actually that's true, but since I work on clients, I prefer not to use my hands. I try to reduce using my fingers as much as I can. But it's true, when it comes to eyeshadow, fingers work best.
So the primer, the times of heard people saying that it's good to conceal like the entire face, and then now come to the foundation. But is it really necessary? Is it advisable? Will it not be too much and heavy for someone?
That really depends. In makeup, there's something we call full coverage and medium coverage. So that all depends on your skin. If you have blemishes, if you have black spots, then you might need to conceal before you actually do the foundation.
That will be full coverage.
Now that will be full coverage, but we also have foundations that are full coverage. So you really don't need to conceal. But yeah, there's some people who actually do that.
So how best do you get to know your skin type, the best foundation to use on yourself? It's a struggle. Sometimes you go to the shop, you know you cannot be opening all these foundation bottles trying to figure out what is best for you.
True.
And it's been a hassle for many to get the actual color that works best for them. What do you do in this case to at least make it easy for someone to know?
For you to know your foundation type, first of all, as I said, we have oily skin and we have combination skin and we have dry skin. For you to know the right foundation that you should use, you first need to know your skin type,
Okay.
So for you to know your skin type, you need to take a look at your skin. If after you take a shower or after you wash your face, your skin gets dry and you need to moisturize, then that means you have dry skin.
Right.
But if you don't need to moisturize, that means you have oily skin, and that will first determine the kind of foundation that you should get. And also when you're getting your match shade, you should go to a shop that
keep doing it so you can save time.
You should go to a shop that matches your shade, so that they can match you first before you actually purchase, rather than just going to a shop and just guessing your foundation and picking it up. Because when you get
lose
home,
that from there, so at least we're able to see what you're doing.
Sure.
That's good.
Because when you get home, the foundation shade maybe won't match your skin tone. So you need.
So after that first layer, then you put another layer of foundation.
After you've put foundation already?
Because I can see that is a concealer. You conceal again after the first layer.
After the first layer, you can conceal. That is if you don't want a one color shadow, if you want to cut a crease or something. So you conceal again, but now this time not the entire lid, just half of it. And then,
so in this case, you'll get a shade one side and the other side a different shade.
And then inside there you can go with a shimmer shade or whatever shade you want to use. So again, I'm going to pick a different brush, a flat one again, and I'm just going to place that on her lid.
What are some of the makeup flaws that people pull, for instance, that you would look at someone and you're like, wow, this is a fall, this is a drop, this is injustice to makeup?
What I notice most is the brows. The brows.
That one I know. The struggle is real.
Most people draw a small line with a black pencil, and
but that was the in thing sometimes back,
That is so.
With a black eye pencil.
That is so gone. That is kitambo.
If you tell my mom that, she would be like, no way, because that was the thing. I remember her doing some of these things. Sometimes putting the 3 dots, the beauty dots on your side. I'm like, wow, it's a whole different thing.
That is one of my pet peeves, those eyebrows, man. Or the boxy eyebrows. Have you ever seen the boxy ones?
I think I have, man. Terrible. And now with a very heavy dark color, actually color.
And a white concealer, and you're like, wow. Really, sis? Really? So the brows, and also when you don't get the right shade of foundation, that really looks bad. So next I'm going just to do a liner.
So that's a black one,
Yeah, this is a black liner. So I'm just going to line kidogo.
So the liquid one and a different one, which one is best?
If you're a first timer, I'd advise you get something like this. It's a pencil-like. This is very easy to work with because liquid liner needs someone who is kind of used to it. Because the liquid liner tends, if you're not careful, it will get all over. So something like this, which is a pencil, is quite precise.
Why do I feel like I don't want to be surprised? I'm being segregated. I don't know. Is there a way you can stand on the other side, or I have to move on the other side so at least I'm able to see?
You can come on this other side.
I am trying as much as possible to learn. I'm trying as much as possible to learn. Why is it that I'm being left behind on this one? Let me stand. This way, at least I'll pick some lessons.
So after the liner, I'm going
so far so good. Beautiful.
So next, I'm going to go in with a mascara. And I'm just going to use that on her eyelashes. Just open your eyes. So after I'm done with the mascara,
I think the hardest part is over and done with.
So I can get now to the face makeup.
Okay,
And I'm just going to get a foundation that is her shade.
And you can easily tell that this is her shade.
Yeah.
Because you've done a lot of this.
Yes,
I can barely guess
yes.
what shade it is.
So and then I'm going to get a brush.
Okay. So in this case, the brush, and what is this thing called? A sponge?
A sponge, a beauty sponge.
Yes,
I
a beauty
also have
sponge.
it.
Which is best between a brush and a beauty sponge?
A beauty sponge blends a little bit nicer and more flawless, because for the brush, if you're not careful, it will leave some bristle lines on the skin.
Right.
So you can begin with the brush and then you can move on to the blender afterwards.
Yeah.
So as you can see, even her foundation, I'm just dabbing it and I'm not dragging it for me to achieve maximum coverage.
So in these occurrences where you see like there's a breakage, is it always about lack of proper skin care or getting the wrong foundation? Because there's times you do, foundation and it is just terrible. You look at it and you don't understand. Yes, it's the color. It's the same skin color with this person. It's the right, foundation for that skin color. But you realize that there's a lot of breakage. Like you can see it's a bit too rough and not as smooth and even as it should be.
If you're a lover of makeup and you love wearing makeup, then I'd advise you to invest in a skincare routine.
Yeah.
If you don't have a skincare routine, then there's a tendency of breakout. And also if you don't when you're at the end of the day, you go to sleep with your makeup, that can also get you into trouble with your skin. So if you love makeup, get a skincare and also clean your skin really well before going to bed.
Now that you said that, it's always a hassle to know how best you can clean. Sometimes you struggle with these, petroleum jellies. Sometimes you struggle scrubbing your face so hard so you can remove some of this makeup. One, is it right to have makeup that sticks so hard that it's hard to remove it at the end of the day? Two, how best can you ensure that you remove your makeup every other day?
The best way to remove your makeup is using wet wipes and something we call micellar water.
Yeah.
Like that really breaks your makeup kabisa. It doesn't matter how heavy your makeup was. You just use micellar water and wet wipes, and then after that you cleanse.
Right.
And then after that you can tone and moisturize, and that's it.
All right.
So use micellar water or wet wipes.
What are the dangers? Wet wipes, yes?
Yeah, you can also use just water-based wet wipes, but that will take a little bit longer to remove the makeup. But if you want to remove the makeup quite quickly, you can use micellar water and wet wipes.
Coconut oil?
Coconut oil, coconut oil does help, but also I've had a few cases of where coconut oil clogs your pores, so you tend to break out. So you can try depending on your skin. If you have sensitive skin, then I wouldn't advise you to use coconut oil.
Some of us are forced to do makeup on a daily basis. Is that an undoing? Is that bad for your skin?
It's actually not bad for your skin if you take care of your skin properly. Yeah.
All right.
Just open your eyes and look up.
So that's foundation layer 1, layer 2?
So this is just foundation layer 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now once you're done with the brushing, you now take the the
I now take the sponge because it gives me a more flawless blend. Yeah. But you can use the blender from the word go, but it tends to take in a lot of your product. So if you don't want to waste your product, you just begin with a brush. And also use a damp blender.
Sponge, yeah?
Don't use it when it's
the beauty
dry.
blender, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Cleaning that is also another problem, ensuring that you just clean your beauty blender well and storage and all that. That is also a very important thing that very many people miss out on. Could it in a way affect you if you don't do proper cleaning and storage? And what are the dangers of sharing? Sometimes you also find people sharing the brushes a lot.
Yeah, so cleaning your tools is very important because you see, after I've used this on her, maybe she had a breakout from before, and if she uses it again on her skin, when her skin is already clear, then it already has the bacteria. So the bacteria will go directly back to her skin. And also when it comes to sharing, you use different products. You use different tools. So I'm done with her foundation. You can see I messed up a little bit on the liner, so I'm just going to go back
and brush it a bit again.
Just a bit.
So at this point, there's one thing that I always don't understand. The bronzer and the highlighter and the powder bit, which one comes first? Is it powder, or you bronze and highlight first and then you powder?
It depends on if you're using cream bronzer or you're using powder bronzer.
Okay.
So if you're using cream bronzer, then you have to bronze first before you
Powder.
Yeah, but if
Okay.
you're using powder, you can do either or first. So
okay.
next I'm going just to highlight her under eyes just a
Right.
little bit so that she can look more awake, and this is what you do when you have like eye bags, when
Okay.
you've not got enough sleep.
I
Just
think
a
I need to be
little
more
bit.
attentive on that, yes?
Yeah, just a little bit under her eyes, not too heavy.
How do you, yes, now that's another thing, because sometimes someone looks at you and they can clearly tell that it's a bit too heavy somewhere there. So how
Yeah.
do you blend that to ensure that it blends again with the rest of the skin?
You have to really take your time when blending. Don't
Yeah.
be in a rush when it comes to blending, because if you don't blend properly, then that's going to mess your entire look. Yeah, and because this is a simple office look, you're not going to highlight too much.
Yeah.
So we're just going to highlight on under her eyes, just to make her look more awake. And you make sure you blend that really, really well, so that it doesn't show any lines of demarcation.
Yeah. Now, can I tell you one of my terrible, okay, well, not my experience, but some of the things that I think I hate to see so much so when it comes to makeup. One is that I know it's all about blending, but it becomes hard to blend all the way to the neck, blend all the way to the ear, and blend all the way up until, you know, it merges with your hair at the level of the forehead. So what do you do to ensure that there's this proper blend that people do not get to see that there's clearly a difference? Makeup has been done on her face and there's a totally different shade lower.
What I prefer doing, I like matching my foundation to my neck, not to my face.
Not to your face.
Yeah, because when
okay.
you match your foundation to your face, then your neck is a different shade. So you'll need to take your foundation all the way down
to the neck, which can mess your dressing again.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'd advise you to do is match your foundation to your neck.
So at this point of buying.
Yeah, at this point of buying, you match your foundation to your neck instead of your face, so that it's easier for you even when you're in a hurry. When you just do your foundation on your face, then it just blends automatically with your neck and your chest.
But sometimes the necks are lighter than the face.
Yeah.
And even lighter than the hands and all that. So you look like a clown in a way.
So if you get a foundation that is the same shade as your neck, then when you put on foundation on your face, then that matches the entire skin tone. But if you get a foundation that matches your face, then you'll have to automatically blend on your neck and on your ears, so that you don't look like a clown and you don't look weird. So I've already done powder on her face, powder that is her skin tone, and then I'm going to get a darker powder and just lightly contour, yeah, a powder that is a little bit darker than her skin tone.
So contouring should not be lighter, should be darker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Highlighting is what is lighter, and then contouring is darker.
Okay.
So I'm just going to need you to do this. Yeah, like that, so that I can get the cheekbones.
Would this work with what do we call this? The highlighters again, the ones that you use on the cheekbones, the pinkish ones and all that. What do we call them?
The blushes.
The blushes, yes. So this is more or less like blushing.
This is like to get the face structure.
So you can as well do this and then blush again.
Yeah. The contouring is like getting your face structure more,
and the cheekbones, raising the cheekbones,
chiseled and all that.
Okay.
So you can actually contour and then you bronze and then you can also blush. Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, I'm going to get on her lower lash line, and I'm going to get a black pencil.
Also, this you don't do at that point where you're working on the eyes.
No, because when you do foundation, you might just rub it all off.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do that now. Or you can do it. There's some people who actually do it.
Yeah.
Depends on your routine and how you just do things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're using the sponge again to avoid fingers?
Avoid touching her face, because you leave like prints of your hands on your fingers on her. So that is why I'm using the sponge.
It's amazing. All right. So imagine, guys, we've been doing this while talking, while demonstrating, and it's been that fast. So clearly it means you can do this at home, in about 10 minutes, and you can hack this. That's pretty much simple. I still do not understand the magic that these specialists do on the eyebrows, because I still try my level best and I don't hack it, but all the same I'll practice and practice and practice, like Molly says, until I'm able to hack it. So we're at what point?
Now we are just still contouring the nose, just a little bit.
And the
more.
last laps, for that matter.
Yeah. So after contouring, you're pretty much done. If you're if you're doing powder contour, you're pretty much done. So
we've done powder already.
Yeah,
yes.
we've done powder already.
Okay.
So the next step, what I like to do first is to set everything together.
All right. So
I'm going to use a setting spray
yeah?
and use it a little bit far from the face.
Okay.
Then I like to go in with the blender.
Okay.
Just really quickly.
So then how helpful or how good is the setting spray?
The setting spray, as the name suggests, is a setting spray. So it sets everything together and makes sure your makeup doesn't move all day. And when you sweat, when you sweat, your foundation tends to move a bit. So when you use setting spray, and in the beginning when you use primer, then your makeup doesn't move. So all after that, what you're going to do is lightly highlight.
We should be the last bit, actually. My assumption.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the last thing you do.
The way men complain that we do so much on our faces.
So we are going to highlight, and we are going to highlight the cheekbones.
Wow. I wish we had a mirror for Magdalene. We should be having one, actually, but yes, we also want to surprise her. She looks amazing.
And then on the forehead, just a little bit, not too much. On the chin. And then
Magdalene, can you see yourself on screen?
And then on the
she's not
Cupid's
able
bow.
to tell me anything.
Yeah.
She's more of a dummy. Okay.
And then on the nose, we're going to use a smaller brush just to make sure it's precise, because your nose highlight also can make or break your makeup.
Okay.
Because if the nose highlight is too thick, then it's going to give the illusion that you have.
Can everyone do highlights? Some of us have this flat nose. Is it advisable to highlight, or you just want the Muzungu nose?
You just
like what I see.
If you have like a big nose, you just contour first. And make it seem a little bit smaller so that you can highlight. Because as I said, your highlight can break
or make your makeup.
Because if you highlight the nose quite thickly, it will give us the illusion that your nose is quite big.
Okay.
Yeah. So next we are almost done. So we are going to do the lips. So I'm just going to line her lips.
So when you line your lips, it depends. You can line with any other shade of color, or it depends on the color that you want to put.
That you want to wear, the lipstick color that you want to wear.
All right.
That will determine the liner that you'll use.
Yeah.
So for her, I'm using a brown liner, and I'm just lightly doing this.
Okay.
So at this point, you can either decide to put on lipstick or gloss. So because this is an everyday look and all, we're going to do gloss.
Okay, all right. And maintaining your gloss, sometimes it's a hustle, man. Yes, we are winding up.
Yes, it is. It is such a hustle, but then it also depends on the quality of stuff that you get. Because if you get like really good quality gloss, it won't come off during the day. But with gloss and matte lipsticks, with gloss you have to touch up every now and then.
Yeah. I'll be sending my invoice to all you guys back at home. Today, you have learned so much courtesy of Morning Cafe. I mean, some bit of exercises. I feel fresh, and good makeup tips that can take you throughout the day, and you will stand out. Look at how beautiful Magdalene looks. I mean, wouldn't you want to be looking this way every other day? And like Molly says, you need not to worry that, you're wearing makeup on a daily basis. No. For as long as you're using the right products, you use the right procedure, and you eventually make sure that you remove your makeup at the end of the day, you are home and dry.
Yeah, and we're done.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Amazing. Magdalene, you go fix your hair. So once you fix your hair, I think the look will be complete.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, call a break for us, Magdalene. Thank you so much. This is incredible. Molly, sorry. And yes, I think I have picked up something. I'm still yet to perfect my eyebrow skills, but once I'm done, I can bet that you will not have any job from me.
Keep practicing and then you'll tell me how it goes.
All right, thank you so much, Molly, right there. It was great having you. And on this session, we're crossing over to a whole different session on Matters Entertainment. Remember, it's a whole galore experience right here on Morning Cafe. So see you in a bit. Not see you in a bit, actually. I'll be coming back to wind up. Nancy's coming back next with a bit of entertainment. It's going to be fun. So keep it right here on Morning Cafe.